And they're on.
Yes.
That was like perfect timing.
It
And
was.
wow.
Happy Thursday, children of the lawn.
Oh, Throwback Thursday.
Oh, we're going to throw back some funny stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so put your helmet on because it's about to get funky up in here.
Now, these aren't the stories that you hear Dad tell all the time. And he's like, oh, Dad, you're going to tell that one again.
No, Dad doesn't tell these all that often.
No, he doesn't.
Well, because they involve criminal behavior, I got to realize something.
Criminal behavior.
Well, yeah, a couple of them.
Well,
there's
most
cops
of
in
your
two of these
stories
stories. There's cops in two of these stories. There.
Remember, drugs are criminal behavior.
But wait a minute. Let me think of the two stories. There were no drugs involved.
Kids, Dad tells criminal behavior stories all the time.
No, I'm embarrassed. No, you know what? Listen, I was... the things that I'm realizing in the third act of my life is how remarkably...
Lucky you were?
The shit that I did and got away with was... I'm grateful, really, believe me, and I'm humbled, and my behavior, for the most part, is indicative of my repentance.
Oh, he says to me a few months ago after one of these shows, listening to these stories I'm telling about when I was a kid, does that sound like a bad kid? I'm like, yes, it does.
Okay, well, let me put a face on that for you. I think I started out as a really good kid. Well, except for the hammer and the silver.
But you didn't know that was wrong.
Yeah, no. And Bridget let me do it, so.
Yes, your nanny let you think so. Probably to get back at your mother for something.
And for everything, probably.
I mean, you were like 3.
Oh, yeah.
4.
But at least I knew I wanted to be a drummer.
That's right.
I just...
Thank you,
If
Bridget.
I had 2 hammers, it would have been really good. Anyway,
Then Bridget might have been in trouble.
and I'll tell you what, I have a total blank out on that whole thing. I mean, I remember that it happened because my mother never let me forget it, but I have I think she went so nuts that I think I have PTSD.
You blocked it out.
Yeah, I blocked it out. So, okay, so let's see, where are we? We've got
Sue's in the
and
room.
Sue, the hair stuff.
He's going to try it
I'm
tomorrow.
going to try it. We're going to see what it does to the old dome.
We didn't get the mail until like 6:30
because it was raining.
It was pouring
we
and
were
thundering
afraid.
and lightning. Well, they tell you when thunder roars, stay indoors. And our mailbox is like not a mile-long driveway like John's, but a good quarter of a mile.
You don't want to be walking through the rain to our mailbox.
So, but I went out at 6:30 and got it and opened it, and we got the CD that you sent us.
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
Ecstasy, which I have heard you mention on the show before, and I can't wait to start planting the seeds.
Yeah, thanks for sending Ecstasy through the mail. No. Hey, you know what? I've gotten stranger things. They're actually very good, and thank you for this.
Yeah, I have heard that they were very good.
Yeah, and we just happen to have a CD player in our daily driver, so that's a very good thing.
Yeah, she said it was a great excuse to send it along.
Well, thank you. That's very nice, and I will...
And we are going to see how this hair stuff works tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll check that out. So if I come on looking like frickin' Art Garfunkel... Let's just hope I can sing like that.
I don't think you'll look like Art Garfunkel. And she sent instructions not to rub your hair, to blot it with the towel, which you don't do. You rub it.
Well, because if I don't, listen, I have developed my own hair thing over the years, which has changed as my hair changed. It used to be...
Oh, and she said it smells awful. We didn't smell it. Let's smell it.
I can smell it. I haven't told that one, have I?
Yeah, you have.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so, and
Ooh,
neither one of the...
that does smell really good.
Oh.
All right. And thank you for including the instructions, or we would have been glopping it all over and not knowing how to use it. But I gotta tell you, I'm excited about my seeds.
She is. I mean, let me tell you what. Talk about a cheap date. Some frickin' seeds and a shovel, and man, you're in.
Well,
what?
you always knew I liked plants. Actually,
Well, it's 'cause
wait, at the reunion, and he saw Felix. Felix said, "Is she still into the plants?" So I guess I've been into them a long time.
Yeah, well,
We drove them from New Orleans to New York in the back seat of the car with a board back there with like 20 plants piled up.
I can't imagine the pain in the ass that you were back then. I just can't even imagine it. I can't imagine you at the height of your foofdom.
Yeah. People wanted to kill me.
Well,
Yeah, you got me right in time. You had to tame me. I needed taming.
she needed taming. Okay, we're not telling that story tonight. Because those are, that's for like some podcast somewhere in the underground radio.
No.
But
we don't do
but
that.
neither one of these stories that involve the police have anything to do with drugs. There's no drugs in these stories, in either one of those stories.
No, okay, well, let's hear them.
Which one would you like to hear first?
Well, I have it written down. The first
all right.
one
So what is
is
the first one?
Is it a BMW?
Oh, well, this kind of there's police in this one too,
But no drugs.
but no drugs.
That's right.
Because we're a family show.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are.
Yeah. So this is called. All right. Well, you'll get it. You'll know what it is. These are fun for me. These are from the beginning. These are over 2 years old, and if you've been hanging out that long, chances are you forgot them. So anyway, check it out. I'll talk about it later. This is just a great story, and I'm sure somebody remind me what year Daltrey Sings Townsend was. I think it was 94, 95. I'm not really sure, but I saw a lot of people I know, because John said, "Listen, I'm playing Carnegie Hall. I'm playing at Carnegie Hall with Roger, and you should come down." So I said, "Oh, of course I'll come down." So I go down Carnegie Hall, and we're up in the dressing room. I gotta hear my background music. I'm not inspired to talk if I don't hear my little background music. You understand, right? I know. There it is. Oh, much better. So that way I get in the groove. Hear those drums and stuff. This stuff. Little explosions. Okay, so we're up in the dressing room at Carnegie Hall, which is a kind of a weird room. I mean, you're looking down out, on the street, a couple of stories up. I mean, Carnegie Hall is Carnegie Hall, all right? So I'm sure the guys will remember 94. Thank you, Pat Curry. Thank you, Mark. Okay. Wouch? Jim? Wouch? Anyway. Yeah, 1994. So John says, come on down, Daltrey. I said, okay. I'll see you there. So we go down, and we're in the dressing room, and nobody's there. Everybody has their own dressing room, and John's not really mixing it up out in the house or in the crowd. It's not really his show. It's Roger's show. I mean, John's on the show, but Pete's going to be on this one. If I'm sure you guys remember that Pete performed at Carnegie Hall. So we're sitting in the dressing room, and I hear Bill Curbishley knocks on the door. "John." I said, "Yeah." "I have a minute." So I said, "Listen, man, I'll let you go. I got to go do some stuff anyway. I'll come back when you're done." And Curbishley walks in to the office, into the dressing room, and just so happens that the sergeant on duty, Sergeant John N. Luongo, was my cousin. So I go back into the room after Bill leaves, and there's a Polaroid on this little table. And it's a kind of a blurry, weird picture. It looks like it's don't forget, it's 94, so we're not real digital capture yet, but it looks like a capture from news footage or something, from some kind of moving pictures. It's blurry, like, and it's this guy's face. I said, "What's this?" And he said, some German guy. Okay, said they were interviewing him outside, and he said he was here to kill Daltrey and Townsend." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I am here to kill Roger Daltrey and Peter Townsend." I said, "Yeah?" He said, "Well, what's the matter with me?" I said, "Well, John, this is New York. If you want me to get somebody to shoot you, there's plenty of people." So he was a little disappointed that the guy was not there to shoot at him, right? The guy was here to kill the Roger Daltrey and the Pete Townsend. Says this outside Carnegie Hall in a crowd of people. You know how the news is out there and the whole thing. And John's upset that the guy didn't mention his name. So he plays the show, and I'm sure that, was it Roger's 50th? No. Oh, well, whatever it was, I'm sure. And so the show's over, and John says, "Let's go." I said, "All right." So we get in the car. It's I guess it was John. Was it Lisa, Laurie, and myself? And all of a sudden, and I've been in plenty of limousines when they're getting followed by fans or whatever. Not plenty, but I mean, you know what I mean. And they drive a certain way to lose people. It's hard. A limousine, those old stretch ones, like back in the day ones, they're horrible. They handle horrible. It's like being on a roller coaster ride. Anyway, so we're doing this evasive maneuvering, right? And so I knock on the opera window and I roll it down and I said to the driver, "What's up?" And he says, "We picked up a tail, but I'll lose him." And usually somebody's waiting, they follow, they figure, I mean, you guys know the drill. You've seen it enough times. So John said, "What was that?" I said, "It looks like we're being followed." He goes, "Is it a BMW?" He did. He did. That's John. Is it a BMW? Yeah, it's a German guy. Get you started.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that's fun.
Is it a BMW?
I mean, it's so, the dynamic in that band.
Because he wanted it to be a German trying to kill him. Because what's wrong with me? And we just...
I mean, he was genuinely upset that the guy didn't name him, and they've got the news outside, right? Daltrey sings Townsend, so they get the press and the whole thing, and the fact that Pete is going to be there for this one performance, I don't. He wasn't there for all of them. John did them all, but Pete wasn't there for all of them. So they're, Daltrey sings Townsend, they're going to do the thing, and they're there, and there's, the fans line up in the day, how they do, and so they're doing a piece on it. Somebody's doing, tonight at Carnegie Hall, and the guy pops out of they're doing interviews, he came all this way, whatever it is, and the guy says, "I am here to kill Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend." And then he runs away, right? So he says it on the freaking news, right? And all these cops get involved, and Bill gets involved, the manager. And they get the Polaroid. I guess they managed to take the Polaroid from the clearest frame of the news footage, and it was like, watch out for this guy.
Right.
And he's when I walked back in the dressing room, you were off somewhere with Lisa. When I walked back in the dressing room, he's like bummed out. And I said, "Well, what was that all about?" "Some guy wants to shoot Pete and Roger." I said, "Yeah." "Oh, what's wrong with me?"
And we just saw something like that on Peaky Blinders. Remember with Arthur?
Oh yeah.
We were watching Peaky Blinders, and the main guy's name is Tommy Shelby, and his brother is Arthur. And somebody says, "I've come to kill Tommy Shelby."
Right.
And he went, "What about Arthur? What's wrong with Arthur?" And I said, "That's like what John said."
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So yeah.
Yeah, so that was, the funny thing is that the thing in the limo, that's not something. I remember when I first started, playing with John in the '80s, that the fan thing was on a whole nother level. I mean, it happened so much. It was amazing. When we were in New York, there would be people down outside of the London or the Riga, whatever it was at the time, and they'd have album covers and they'd have index cards and and so there were ones that were the regular fans, they had a couple of things to sign. And then there were these guys that you could tell there was an agenda there. They had the whole frickin' collection. And John didn't give a shit. He'd sign everything. He would
everything but one thing he would not sign.
Yeah, the only thing he would sign was the Maximum R&B black and white poster with Pete
jumping up because it didn't have the rest of the Who on it. It was just Pete.
Didn't have him on.
Well, whatever. He would not sign that. He would not sign it. And he gave me the T-shirt.
That's right.
He's like, here, have a T-shirt.
Anyway, it's just the whole level of that. I imagine to John, it just became second nature. It just became part of the drill. And you've heard me talk about making up hotel names so that the fans can't call your room or whatever. And it's not everybody doing it, but there's always a couple of nut jobs that just have to
call at 2 a.m.
I mean, yeah.
That's when they're drunk,
Or they sneak up. They it's.
Well, John wouldn't mind that.
No, he would encourage it.
Yeah.
In fact, no, he would encourage it.
Yeah.
But it always worried me. That randomness of that always, because you don't ever know what somebody's going to do. And I was always, when he would do crazy things, we walked outside of a gig one night, and there was a cute girl in a Volkswagen Beetle who said, "Come on, you want to go for a ride?"
In California.
He just gets in the car and they're gone.
Right, and we see them drive past us on the freeway. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, they can't hear you so good because he doesn't have his microphone on. Oh, where's my buttons?
Where's your buttons?
You have them. Sorry, people.
God, I'm
sorry.
terribly sorry. I hope you didn't miss any of that.
No, they can hear you, but not so good.
I know.
Sue's the one that said it. Thanks, Sue.
Yeah, thanks, Sue. You're a lifesaver.
Man, you were like the hero today.
You are. It's been a big Sue day.
It has.
Sue day.
Hello?
All right, so let's see. Where are we going next? That was an opener.
Okay, I
What's
got my
next?
buttons. Now I'll be able to see when his mic is on and off. Okay, so next we're going to Vermont.
Oh, we're going to Vermont?
Yes, we are.
Wow.
With Rat Race Choir. And how old were the members of Rat Race around this
This was
time?
in 69 or 70.
So,
so
Rat Race. Was Chris Peck still in the band?
No. Wait,
Okay.
let me think of what band it was. Who was in the band? No, because it was was Chris still in the band? Might have been.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it was Chris Murphy.
Oh, well then,
So-
yeah, he would have been.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was the 60s.
Yeah,
or
it was
70.
early in 69 or 70, and because it was during what they called the January thaw. There's a million stories from this trip, but there's a Magic Fingers story.
Oh,
I gotta find that. What?
Don't give anything away.
No, that's not in here.
Okay.
This is the, I think it was the Silver Keg where I pulled this one. Anyway, enjoy.
Wait.
What?
Gail says, my boyfriend followed Cheap Trick once. They tried to lose him, but we followed them to the hotel. I was way too shy. I can't see the rest of her comment.
Where is it?
I don't know. It's on, it's on my phone. Okay, I was way too shy to get out of the car.
Well, but there's a lot of people that weren't too shy, and I mean, I can't even tell you. Now, see, there were cool things too, and I'll tell you, this is a great story, and I'll tell it to you now because we were playing the Channel in Boston,
I remember that place right on the water.
right on the water,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm guessing it was the Rat Race Tour '87. And
Michael Newton, you probably know the channel.
yeah, Michael
In
Newton.
Boston.
So I go out to the bus. If you remember the channel, there's a back door, and that's usually where the bus and the truck and all the stuff is parked. So I go out the back door, and I see this girl standing next to the bus with newspaper, and she's crying.
Right.
What is it with me and crying people?
I don't know. I wasn't one of them.
No, well, excuse me.
Not before we were together.
No.
Or you would have run.
So I go out to the bus and I see this girl, and if you don't want to get engaged, you just don't make eye contact, and you just keep going, right?
Especially if it's drunk crying.
Yeah, because you just don't know. I mean, you just don't know.
Those drunk crying girls and guys.
So I get on the bus and I do whatever I got to do in there. I used to love the bus. I did. I loved it. I don't know that I would love it so much now, but I loved it then. And when I get whatever it was I was getting, and I come off, I have my bus key, and so I can just lock the door up again, and she's still standing there, and she's crying. I mean, she's serious crying. And I said, are you okay? And she said, I came to see John Entwistle, and they won't let me in to say hello, and there's nobody there, and I just wanted to sign my newspaper, because there was an
Why
article.
would they let her in?
Why didn't they let her in?
Yeah.
Because they were just being pricky. It was the afternoon. She knew he was in there. One of the bouncers could have walked her, or one of the security could have walked her down.
It was not showtime.
No. It was sun. The sun was still up. It was daytime. I don't think we had even done sound check yet.
Okay.
And I said, well, come with me. This is my favorite thing to do, right? This is why I do this show. It's why I love this kind of shit. And so I said, well, come with me. And I've got, I have no problem going anywhere. And I walk down the hallway. If you've ever been to the channel, it's a long way backstage to the dressing room. And I knock on the door. And, because I didn't want anybody to be undressed. And,
you didn't want to give her that much of a show.
Well, no.
No.
You have to wait for that.
Yeah.
You don't get that on opening night. So, and she was a sweet young girl. It didn't make sense to me because she was so young to be an Entwistle fan. But okay, no problem. And she said, "Oh, John, I love you." Blah, 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 blah. And he signs her newspaper, and he said, "Are you staying for the show?" And she said, "No, I don't have to." And so he tells whoever the crew was to take care of her, give her passes, and whatever else it was. And never saw her again.
Ever.
No, that's not true.
Oh, right. Years later.
No, not even. She turned up in every hotel lobby that for like years. Not
And just
everyone.
wanted to say hi.
And just wanted to wave. Didn't want to get invited up. I invited her up once. Said, do you want to, you're sitting down there.
She wasn't crazy.
No. Because, we always had a green room where you could...
Well, that's a smart girl. She was not crazy.
No, but she was, it was amazing. And I remember seeing her, and it used to make me smile every time I saw her. It was, All right, so now what? You want to go to Vermont?
Let's go to Vermont.
Okay.
All right, well, anyway, that was a good story.
Well, thank you, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, it's the truth. I love that about...
Michael Newton says, think that was my first wife.
Okay. Well, she was very cute, a little cryy, a little whiny, but, very nice.
Oh, and he was at that show at the...
Oh, were you at the channel? That's cool.
He lives in Boston.
See, I love that. I love that. In fact, I'm looking for good recordings from that tour. I need one more song for an album.
Did you bootleg anything,
Yeah,
Michael?
if anybody has any high-quality bootlegs, man, bring them on. You could make the record. Anyway.
Oh, wait, he said yes. Okay.
Wow.
Well, we encourage bootlegging.
Yeah, we love bootlegging.
John loved it. Leslie did not.
No.
But John would let anybody record
John,
anything.
yes. I don't mind a little red
he
dot.
didn't. Michael did not record anything. Maybe some of your friends did.
We'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll find it. Anyway, here you go. This is a trip to
Vermont.
Vermont. So what I'm about 16, 17 maybe at this point.
Was it like one of your first road trips?
Yeah, it was the first
road trip.
first out of state stuff that we ever did. Yeah.
As a band, cool rock and roll band.
Cool rock and roll band in a truck going to like several states
In
away.
a truck. That's how you know they were young.
In a U-Haul.
And a U-Haul. Oh, how exciting, though, right?
There's stories just about that truck itself. Here you go. Let's go to Vermont.
All right.
Okay. I love playing that song. My favorite song to play. And it was weird not playing it, but that's not the story. The story is thick as a dick. So now it's time to hip you up to the punchline. Years before this performance, we had done a road trip up to Vermont. This is going back to the beginning of Thick as a Brick and the speech. I should have looked up the year that the speech started, but it doesn't matter. So I realized, I think we were in, I can't remember, I think it was either the Silver Keg in Montpelier or someplace in Brattleboro, I don't know, but we were there. And different for Rat Race, this is going back years and years, 70s. Different kind of crowd, different kind of place. Burlington maybe was one of the places. Anyway, we get to this, for all intents and purposes, a giant log cabin type of nightclub. Nightclub is huge stage, but it looks like a brand new log cabin made out of like brand new logs. So we go in there, we set up, we do this and that and the other thing, and the dressing room was right off the stage. You kind of walked out of the dressing room and up onto the stage. And Dave, wrote Thick as a Brick on the set, and I'm thinking, oh wow, we've never played here before. I think the cane had probably broken by this time, and I wasn't doing this thing anymore because I didn't have those. I said, what am I going to pull out of my pants? And I start looking through the dressing room, and Dave, I told you the story about Dave had the pickled eggs in his suitcase, and I'm just looking through suitcases, and I see Larry's. I'm thinking, what's Larry got that maybe I could use, as a prop, just a can of hairspray, anything, And I go in his bag, and first of all, I should tell you, Larry, for 10 years of my life, was the best friend anybody could ever want to have. And I loved him like a brother. He was a great friend, and it was great to reconnect with him back in 2017. I miss him, but we did our time, and I'm good with that. So I'm going through Larry's suitcase, and I find a dildo. Now, I should qualify this by, when you go on the road, there's going to be adventure out there of some sort. And, sometimes I would bring a camera to film strippers dancing on the dresser, and just, wasn't questioned. It's just you brought whatever you needed for your recreational time, and so here's this dildo. But this particular dildo, you remember the old cars that used to start up with a crank, right? Had that crank coming out. Well, this dildo had a crank sticking out of the back of it, which I thought could be dangerous, but And turns out what it is if you bend the thing and you turn the crank, it does this weird shit. I said, this is too good to be true. I didn't just find this. I'm looking for something to pull out of my pants, and I'm going to pull this out of my pants? Awesome! Larry will be surprised. And it's not like he was hiding it. I mean, it wasn't one of those, it wasn't like I invaded his space. If he was here, he'd tell you the story right along with me. I'm sure he's laughing his ass off as we speak. So, I bring the thing out, I wrap it up in my towel, because it's sizable. and I'll be proud to pull this thing out of my pants. And so we do Thick as a Brick, and we get to the speech part, and I put the, I get ready to go out from behind the drums. I put the thing in my pants, and what I did was I was wearing those, those Capizio pants, that stretchy kind of pants. They're real good to play in, and so I was able to just pull them down, and have the, have the appendage stick out, which, with the lighting, appeared to be real. And girls started screaming, and guys got really pissed off. They thought, not only did I do this, but it was huge. And when the cord hit, I said, oh, they'll calm down as soon as they see it's not real. So I pulled the thing out of my pants on the cord, and they're ready to kill me. And I had to run into the frickin' dressing room and lock the door. I couldn't even let the band in there. These guys were gonna fuck me up. Sorry, it was ugly. And the police came, and there was charges, and they were gonna do this, and they're calling me Jim Morrison or whatever the hell it is. And I mean, it was like, and for me, the whole shock was seeing the look on Larry's face. But I didn't realize that the whole town of frickin' Burlington was going to implode. So that's my Thick as a Brick story.
Yeah. Only Steve.
I had never.
Now I
had never played for a crowd other than like Westchester or.
I saw you do it at Hammerheads before I knew you, and you pulled scarves out of your pants. This was during Thick as a Brick.
Well, it says, after a further 10 bars, the guitarist, the bassist, and I myself will blend and aspire in anticipation of the orgasmic sensation to follow. And that's when I would pop the cane out or do the whatever.
Let me tell you what, I thought you were a dirty, nasty boy when I just saw you pulling scarves out. I can't imagine if I had seen the lifelike dildo, I probably would have stopped looking right then and there. I would have been like those Vermont people.
They freaked. I mean, it got ugly so fast, they were going to arrest me. And we had to leave town that night, I think, if I recall. We had to promise to get out of town.
Well, that was obscene.
But it really was. I mean,
Larry, I can't imagine you found his dildo.
And I'm spinning the thing. I'm like, look, it's not real. It's not real. And it's wanging around like this. And it was like a sea of plaid shirts and anger. And oh God.
What was Larry doing? Shocked.
Larry was just standing still. He was not trying to prevent anybody from killing me, I'll tell you that. It wasn't like he threw himself in front of me. Oh, shit, man.
Oh, that's a good one.
But you see, now understand this. This is the thing of it. And no drugs in any of these stories.
No drugs. Oh, shit. Richard
Ring
said homophobia.
I don't know what it was, Richard, but they were. I mean, it was like it was like Footloose or something. You know what I mean?
It was dancing. This was like you said, more like Jim Morrison.
Well, they were calling me Jim Morrison. We don't go for that Jim Morrison stuff. Guys, it wasn't real. It's my keyboard player's dildo.
Now, imagine,
that's what you tell them in Brattleboro or wherever the hell.
If you hadn't looked through Larry's bag and you had looked through Dave's, you might have found pickled eggs and pulled those out of your pants.
Well, yeah.
Then I would have thought it was testicles.
Well, either way. I'm telling you, when I dropped, because it's not like I pulled it out, right? I mean, I dropped it out like Dirk Diggler. And I'm telling you, it was
Dirk Diggler. Yeah. Otherwise known as Marky Mark.
And it was, and man,
that, right? Boston. Michael?
I mean, I heard, and it was just the wrong thing to do. I was a kid. I thought, man, come on, because I had heard all the Morrison stuff and all this, and I'm doing this. Anyway, so survived that one.
And you did know that Steely Dan was a dildo.
I did know that. Yes, I did.
Sue says, "OMG, that would have been hysterical." Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Not for Steve.
I thought it was going to be hysterical.
He didn't go out and buy a dildo to pull out of his pants every song after that.
Man, no, I know. And I, wow.
What'd you pull out of your pants next?
I think that was maybe that. No,
that was the last time.
No, it actually wasn't. I kept doing it.
Oh, shit. Gail can't breathe. Hey, we heard today that if you laugh, it adds years to your life.
Right, so we're going to live to be 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, that was a good one that he has not told a lot.
And it's true. I mean, all these, this, it's just, when you are in a band and you're in a good band and things are starting to take off and you're starting to get, the first time somebody wants you to play somewhere, you're a kid, you're 16, 15, whatever it is. And somebody actually requests you guys, calls up your agent and says, I want those guys. You're like, oh, wow.
They didn't know about you pulling things out of your pants. Okay, now the children have some comments.
Yes,
Richard Wing says, steam-powered at that. And Christian L wants to know how long it was.
Well, let me just say that it could have been any color. I'll put it to you that way.
You don't know what color it was?
No, I know what it was. White. I mean, it looked like it was, but it could have been.
It was flesh colored.
Yes, but it could have been. It was big.
Was it like
man. I mean, it was
9 inches?
No, well.
Was it a foot long?
It wasn't a whole foot long, but it was like 9 or 10. It was big.
It was big.
It was like.
It was not a Vienna sausage.
And, I guess I just didn't think it through.
Michael's still laughing.
Yeah,
Gail
well,
can't breathe. Okay.
Yeah. So are the cops in Vermont.
Ah.
Wow.
They didn't arrest him, though. They had to leave town.
Yeah.
Get out of town now.
Yeah. And I can't remember. It was Montpelier.
I guess you weren't invited back.
No.
It wasn't Burlington?
It was Burlington or Brattleboro. We played all, there was a whole string of gigs in that run.
Did they call each other?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Kind of like the Cracker Barrel tour.
No, get out of town and don't come back. Thank you. See ya.
Okay,
So,
that's it. I told you guys he had some good stories that you might not remember hearing.
So what is what's next on the hit
parade?
Is
J.E. Hookah.
What?
J.E. Hookah.
Oh, yeah. I think because the
okay, well then
Christmas
let's move
Eve
on.
one.
Let's move on to the
This is
number
long.
4.
Yeah, this is
number
long.
4.
This is long, but this is one of my favorite stories, and I haven't heard myself tell it, so I don't know. What I do is I find the top and I find the end and cut it off, and then I'm listening to it with you because I certainly remember when this happened. But the thing about this is, I said I had incredible luck. I mean, I should have been dead more times than I can tell you, and I should have been incarcerated more times than I can tell you, and I should have been, I don't even know what.
Yeah.
We did the craziest shit, and like I was saying, you're in a band, you're making more money than you're making a lot of money.
Right.
For a kid.
And you're a teenager.
You're living at home, you got no responsibility.
You're still going to school.
Yeah, I'm still going to school. And I'm making more money than my teachers. And it's like, there's no book like, oh, don't do this.
Gail says, who gets run out of Vermont? Steve.
Right here. Present. Okay, so this is a different kind of running. What is it? Christmas Eve is the 4th one?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I love this story.
Because you lived it, Dottie. Well, you
Well,
lived in Vermont, too. Well, let me ask you, were the other members of the band, Rat Race, mad at you for doing that? Or did they find it funny? Not Larry, but the other ones.
Well, Chris was an upstart, so he didn't mind, and nobody else really had a voice that early in the thing.
Right.
So
And was Larry like? Was it awkward seeing Larry after? Did you hand it back to him, or did you put it back in his bag?
I put it back in his bag. I actually told, I forget who was roadieing for me on that.
Oh,
trip.
you
I
told them to
yeah,
do it?
Yeah, here, take this. Hey, thank you very much.
Oh, God, and you don't even know if it was sanitized.
It was like, hey,
No.
okay, thanks very much.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, now Larry.
Now, this is another adventure with Larry. Also, no drugs.
Yeah,
Also, no drugs.
that's why you were riding around.
Okay, I don't know if I set this up for. I'm sure I did. But this is a long one. But it's
It's a good one.
It's
now, children,
so
you'll want
true.
to tell, you'll want to pass this down.
Yeah, you're gonna want to pass this
Tell
story
your cats
on
and
down.
dogs.
You're gonna tell those cats and dogs that this
Oh,
is.
speaking of cats, Sue, I love your stationery. It's got little kittens and cats all along the borders. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so anyway.
Okay, so yeah, let's go for a ride.
All right, with Steve.
Christmas Eve, 19 what? Oh,
I don't know, but you had to keep getting your hair cut
68?
for school
This
or
is
for whatever.
68. Yeah.
19
Oh no, because it had to be 60.
It's
Christmas
before
of
you had your
69.
driver's license.
Right, I was 17. So what year would that be?
That-
Yeah, no, you couldn't. No, I didn't have my junior operator. I only had a junior operator's license.
well, you were born in 52.
Right, so
you were
62
10
I would
and
have been
62,
10.
yeah. So add
7, 63, 4, 5, 6.
I got a calculator. All right, it's about 17.
Yeah, well, no, I was 17. I just don't remember the year. It doesn't
See,
matter.
we got to drive at 15 in Louisiana.
Well, that's because.
It's Louisiana.
All right, so yes.
Okay,
So
we
yeah.
must tell the story.
All right,
or we're
let
going
this
to run out of
story be
time.
told. So let it be told. And now, without hesitation, because I'm looking at the clock, I'm going to take you here. I'm going right into this. This is the U-Haul massacre, and I'm going to let some of these pictures roll by so that you get, acclimated to what this story is actually about. Obviously, there are cops. You see cops, and we'll see. Let's see. Well, all right. This is around the holiday time. There we are, young, spry me. This is around holidays. And I'm thinking it was 1969. Now, if you recall, I told you a story about September 1969 where Larry and I got taken into the Portchester police station September of 1969, and the whole thing with my uncle, the chief of police, and all that. So this is part of my charmed life theme running through. There's Christmas presents. You'll see the significance of the Christmas presents as we go on with the story. So, I've skated away on the thin ice of a new day. I've skated away very luckily in my life. On the one hand, I should probably be on Rikers Island or some crazy thing like that. If I got in trouble for other things I did wrong, I'd be playing in a different band. But by the same token, with all that luck came all the good fortune musically, which is what I was talking about when I was talking about the Modern Drummer interview that I did earlier. I mean, it really makes you say, wow, not only did I not go to jail for doing stupid shit, but I got to do all this other cool stuff, and I still do. Okay, so I'm feeling grateful, and I really wanted to go all the way back to '69 again. Because Larry so generously supplied me some laughs in the first story. I carry him through into the next story. So it's 1969. I'm 17 years old, and it's Christmas Eve. Well, Merry Christmas. My girlfriend at the time, for Christmas, extended the rental on the Rat Race Choir U-Haul van. In other words, we were using the van until the 23rd, and she went into U-Haul and said, you know what, I'm going to pay for this for my boyfriend until Monday, so that I could have, a vehicle to drive around in. because I'll have to tell you what happened to the Mustang at another time. Another story. Anyway, she rents me this U-Haul, and she extends the thing on it. I put my license down. But it's a junior operator's license. Because I was not going to driver's ed. I was barely going to school. I'm not going to go have some idiot tell me something I already know, and I don't take driver's ed, so I have to wait till I'm 18 to be able to drive at night in New York State in those days. Okay, I'll wait. Because I'm driving at night anyway with a junior operator's license. What is it, 8 o'clock? Oh, okay. So, we've got this van. And we're driving around. Larry's in the passenger seat. We have one of the roadies sitting, and if you remember the old Ford Econoline vans, I haven't been watching the picture, so I didn't see if it went by or not, but you'll see, not the actual van, but certainly a replica. And we're out tooling around. And one thing that was left in there from the van, there was a mattress in the back. Now, I don't know whether the mattress was for extracurricular activity or whether it was there, whether the roadies put it there to shore up the gear. But if you're going to party in a van with more than 2 people, you really need a mattress or something to sit on, because there's no seats. It's, it's an empty camp. And there's the old crew. Okay, so Christmas Eve, we're like looking for people, hoping that we're going to see people. And I mean, the streets are deserted. It snowed. There was snow all over the streets. I'm not sure if the snow picture went by yet. And so, I have to get my notes straight here because this happened in a very specific way. So I'm in this van, no drugs, no girls, no nothing, as empty a van as it could possibly be. And we're driving down Mamaroneck Avenue right past Stepanak. If you're from White Plains, where you know that part of the world, Stepanak is where I saved the guy's life. You remember he died and I had to bring him back to life. That's Stepanak. So I'm going right by there. What, Steve? I'm going right by there. I've got Larry in the passenger seat, Bobby's sitting on the motor in this old Econoline, and we're just, kind of making our way through the snow. And I pass by Stepanak, and all of a sudden, I see a cop in my rearview mirror, and he big one sticks out the side, and I freak because it's like 9 o'clock, and I'm out past my junior operator's curfew. So I said, "No, don't panic, and I go and I make a left turn on Ridgeway Avenue, and it's a very short block. There's a van. Okay, that's it. So we're in this on Christmas Eve, riding around in that. Christmas Eve. Okay, so I make the left turn to get off of Mamaroneck Avenue, hoping that the cop will just keep on going by, and that's what I turn onto. Look at that street, snowy street. This is perfect. Okay. So I turn out of this little neighborhood, and I now, it's like there's a short block, and then a long way this way, and then another short one, and I can go across Mamaroneck Avenue and get into another neighborhood, and hopefully he won't follow me. And there he is. Everybody, perfect timing. Okay. So I make the turn down, I make the right turn onto Avondale, and then I make another right turn onto the short Etheldridge Road to cut across over to Holbrook Road. And so I'm figuring he won't be able to see me if I go around the corner, right? Which is true. And so the minute I get to the stop sign, I blow right through the frickin' stop sign, across Mamaroneck Avenue and up onto Holbrook Road, and I can see lights come on before he ever gets to Mamaroneck Avenue. Right? Now he's got to look both ways, and he's got to do this, and I'm scared shit now because it's Christmas Eve. I don't want to get a ticket. I don't know what's going to happen, and so I panic. And I panic and freak because I just had the Portchester incident with the chief of police 3 months ago in September. Thank you very much. So now I'm charging down this road, and I can see, the lights are flashing, and they're bouncing off the snow, and I'm like freaking out. And I go up and over this hill, and the cop, he's blowing his siren, and I mean, he's just going nuts coming after me. And I go down this hill on this snowy embankment, and I get the brilliant idea at probably 45, maybe 50 miles an hour to turn into a driveway and turn my lights off. He'll go right by. So I try it at 45 miles an hour. Wound up spinning around like Dorothy Hamill until I wind up going right at a frickin' telephone pole, and I land this far away from it, unscathed, no problem, and facing the opposite way. So when the cop finally comes over the hill, he blows right by us. He's not going to try to turn into anybody's driveway or anything else. So I say, excellent. It's going to be forever for him to turn around, and I'm just going to blow out of here. And I go up to the top of the hill, and I get to a fork in the road, and I said to the guys, left or right, left or right? And they said, go left, and I go left. And what's there? A half a dozen cop cars and about a dozen cops. Uh-oh. So they open the doors, and here we go, out of the car, up against the van, mother jumper, you this and that and the other thing. All the doors on the van are pulled open. They see the mattress. They figure it's probably got to be filled with heroin, right? The mattress in the back of the U-Haul van. And so they don't find anything. They don't find not a seed, not a paper, not a joint, not anything, not even remnants of anything. They find a mattress. And so after inspecting this thing for about 5 minutes, and the other cop hasn't come yet, I guess maybe he kept going to seal off the other exit from this neighborhood. I don't know. So the cop in charge, the main guy in charge, comes over to me, turns me around, and they're kind of, loosening up a little bit, and he says, why were you running? And I said, because it's after 9 o'clock and I only have a junior operator's license. And he starts laughing, right? Laughing. I mean, I'm thinking, this is good. He's laughing. I guess I'm still a cute kid, not some maniac. So he goes over, he talks to another cop, and they start laughing, and they're going back and forth, and I'm thinking, oh, this is great, I'm going home. They might even fill this thing up with gas. And all of a sudden, they start mimicking the cop who was chasing me by going, I got a Christmas Eve burglar with a U-Haul filled with Christmas presents, stolen presents. Quick, hurry, send backup. And they're mocking this guy to each other. And the guy pulls up and skids to a stop like Hawaii 5-0, and he runs out and pulls his gun out, and these guys are laughing at this dude. I mean, they are, and so they're doing it to him. I got the Christmas Eve bandit. I got the Christmas Eve bandit. And they're just taking the piss out of this guy, and he is getting pissed. So he arrests me, and he takes me downtown. And he charges me with going through a stop sign, failure to yield, endangering the lives and limbs of citizens, endangering the lives and limbs of police officers, illegal maneuver, hazardous maneuver, which I guess is different from illegal maneuver, and it was insane. This guy was pissed. I mean, and I'm telling you, like a dozen moving violations. Merry Christmas, Mom. Can you bail me out? Okay. So she bails me out. And my arraignment, or whatever, not arraignment, but my hearing, my whatever it is going to be in January. Pain in the ass. My mother says, you got to cut that hair. Oh, I'm not cutting, Mom. This is traffic court. I'll pull it back in a ponytail, I'll put it under my shirt, I'll wear a tie, and it'll be fine. So we go to court, right, in the middle of January, maybe towards the end of January. And the judge says, Steve Luongo. And I get up and he says, you're charged with, and he starts reading off the charges. And he's reading off so many charges that the people in the courtroom start laughing. And I'm thinking, I am just done. And it was a horror because I had never, I skipped away from the Portchester thing, and I had some other encounters, but I'm in court. This is serious crap, and I'm pretty well scared. So he says, he reads off the charges, and the court's laughing, and I said, I didn't say anything, and he said, do you have representation? And I said, no, sir. And he said, well, I suggest you get some, because if you're convicted of all these violations, it could be 3 to 5 years in jail. Now, it's getting ugly. So he says, he speaks to my mother. He says, I'm going to give you time to get a lawyer, and blah, 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 and he had to get a retainer. So I don't think that we even got arraigned again, or we even appeared again till after that summer, by the time everybody did whatever. So now it's what? It's summer of 70. Summer of 70. And, school's out, and you're going nuts, and I'm supposed to go, and I'm supposed to go back to court because they want to have a hearing. And it's a hearing, it's like a trial with no jury. So this happens in late 70. There were so many postponements. The cop can't make the hearing. And I mean, this thing is dragging on. And every night, I go to sleep and I wake up with that anxious, oh God, what's going to happen to me? And I have dreams about cops and it's red lights, and it's just insane. And and this is going on forever. So, they set a date, they cancel the postponement, blah, blah, blah. So it's been like a year. And they decide that they're going to have the hearing in November. So I go, and my lawyer goes, and he said, well, look, you really don't have to worry about going to jail because there's something called youthful offender. If you're under 19, blah, 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 the only thing that'll happen is you'll lose your license for junior operators, and you'll pay some fines, and that'll be that. He said, unless he decides to turn the screws on you. So I said, oh, all right. So we go there, and we have the hearing, and the cop he goes first, and he says, I was doing this and I was doing that, and the guy was like lying. I shot them with flares, I did this and that and the other thing, I tried to cut them off, they tried to hit me. The guy was like just trying to bury me. So I said, well, I know how to do that too. So I said, they didn't find anything in the van because we weren't doing anything wrong. I told the officer that first pulled me out that I was running because I had a junior operator's license. I said I was a new driver. I said when the officer turned on his lights, I was already crossing Mamaroneck Avenue, and I panicked and tried to get out of his way. And then when I spun out and he kept going, I figured he wasn't after me. Good, right? I said, and then I drove up and blah, 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 blah. So the judge is perplexed because that's pretty convincing. I convinced you, right? That's not really what happened. We know that. But, so the judge says an interesting thing that I'd never heard. He said, I'm going to reserve decision on this case, and I'll let you, I'll let you know how it goes, and I'll call you back or whatever it'll be. Now it'll be 1971. Okay. So they call us, they set a date and they cancel it, and I don't know why, and I don't care why, because I just don't really want to go. But now it's starting to get on in the year. It's like this time, it's like May, right? And we've just gotten our gig in the Hamptons for 1971, the first summer at Middy's General Store, because the guy Skip, who some of you know turned out to be our manager, was working there, and anyway, blah, 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 blah. So I said to my lawyer in May, I said, listen, I've got a gig. Of course, I made it out to be more than it was, but I have a gig, and I'm not going to be away for the summer, so can you postpone this until after the summer? Because I don't want to have to keep cutting my hair. And So he said, yeah, I'm sure I can, postpone the whatever verdict. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so I play the Hamptons. I come back. They set a date, right? They set a date to go and listen to this decision. And I got to cut my hair again. And it's like, what a pain in the ass. And da-da-da-da-da. And they cancel the hearing or whatever it is, the final thing. So this goes on, and I don't hear from my lawyer for months. So now we're almost into 2 years, and this is causing me undue anxiety. No matter what he said about, it'll be this, and you won't do this, and you'll lose your license. I don't want to lose my license. I'm now 18 years old, and I want to, I can drive at night, and I want to do it. I also had a car and whatever else. And so I don't hear from the lawyer. And one day, I get a call. My mother is at work, and I pick up the phone, and he says, Stephen. I said, yes. He said, do you get the Reporter Dispatch? I said, yes, I do. He said, there's something in there that you should read right now. And now I'm freaking. I'm figuring that they reinstated the death penalty for driving violations, and they're going to take it all out on me. And I open up the Reporter Dispatch, and it says, Westchester County City Judge dies in hospital. What does that mean? He died in the hospital. This is public record. It had to be 71 or 70. I don't even. It's back there. White Plains. So I said, well, does that mean we have to go through this crap all over again? He said, well, it would have if he didn't reserve decision, but because he reserved decision and then passed away, his files are sealed and you just walk. So charmed life? Thank you. I've got more of those. And you can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't.
I mean, you can make it up, I guess, if you want to, but that's
true story.
And as I'm listening to myself tell that story, I'm saying, man, that really happened. And I can visualize going over that hill on whatever that was, Avondale Howellbrook Road, and trying to turn into that driveway and just... I'm a new driver, I mean, how many hours, I've been driving since I'm like 15, but still, not a lot of night snow experience while being chased by a cop.
Right.
And,
in a U-Haul van.
In a U-Haul van. I'm just, it was, well, I hope I get to make the movie because that scene is going to crack you up. Because when all these cops, I mean, I was scared to death. I'm 17 years old. Barely. I just turned 17 in September. It's Christmas Eve. And these cops are like, they got guns to my head, and I'm slammed up against a U-Haul, and it's like Miami Vice.
Right.
And then when I told them I was driving at night with a junior operator's license, they started laughing.
That's what did it.
This is great, man. These guys, they're going to let me go.
Because there had been somebody stealing Christmas presents, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always somebody stealing something. But when that other cop came up and they were goofing on him, putting their guns away, getting in their cars, he was blazing pissed. And it's public record. And this judge absolutely died. I can't remember what his name was. But I didn't even lose my license. I probably lost a few nights' sleep because I was really scared of what was going to happen. The guy tells me I can go to jail. I'm 17, and I think I was almost 19 by the time I had to be.
Well, Sue said it's like Alice's Restaurant ridiculousness.
Man, I'm telling you. But hey, listen.
Okay, so we have run over.
Well, go figure.
But the stories were worth it.
I hope so.
Yes, so
tomorrow
night, everybody.
Free for all Friday, kids.
Friday.
You know how that goes, right?
That's right.
So, if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
Good night, everybody.
See you tomorrow.